As a hater with a list of enemies, it oftentimes gets overwhelming keeping up with the comings and goings on of all of my vicious arch nemesis, okay? And today we have to talk about one of those enemies. Today we're going to be talking about Machine Gun Kelly. Now, I haven't talked about Machine Gun Kelly in almost 2 months since that whole fake breakup thing happened. And the only reason why I say fake breakup thing happened is because there was no official announcement. But today we're diving back into the weeds. We're going to go in there with our machete and we're going to slice and we're going to dice through this drama jungle together, because it seems as if this vicious couple have disappeared from the internet. Hey ladies, how's it going? It's your friendly neighborhood gatekeeper here, Dan Frampton, and I might as well start with some context, okay? Because if you're new to the channel, you might not know that I'm a hater with a list of enemies. You might not know that Machine Gun Kelly is on that list. Hell, you might not even know who Machine Gun Kelly is. So let's go back a decade or so, where Machine Gun Kelly was more of a rapper and not so much a pop punk powerhouse. He was just this dirty, lanky, white rapper with a fast flow. There was nothing really creative going on with him. I never liked the guy. But the thing about Machine Gun Kelly is he was desperate from day one to get Eminem's attention. So he was just like sending like all sorts of vibes through the universe, and like probably like physical letters and tweets and other like mentions in songs just to get Eminem, Slim Shady's attention. And years and years and years would go by, and Machine Gun Kelly would never get that validation from his hero, and it drove him off the deep end, where he wrote a rap song, a diss track directed towards the rap god himself. He called this diss track Rap Devil, okay? Very edgy and not really a well-crafted diss track, because this was enough to get Eminem's attention. And in Eminem's rebuttal to this thing, which he called Kill Shot, so aptly named, he was like, I wasn't gonna pay attention to you, but now I'm gonna decimate you. And he quite literally did that. He absolutely demolished MGK until he was a puddle of blood, piss, and vomit. And that sent MGK running for the woods. Old Colson Baker couldn't show his face, his filthy visage, in the rap community ever again. So he went through like a couple years of obscurity, keeping it low key, until one day he decided to announce that he was no longer a rapper and he was dipping his foot into the dead waters of pop punk. Pop punk was dead for like 2 decades by this point, okay, if I'm being honest with you. And he's like, oh, Travis Barker, you're not doing anything. Let's share some clout back and forth, and I could become a pop punk guy. And he did. He was. And he put out this record called like Tickets to My Downfall. He always tried to be like the self-aware guy, but he was always off the mark. Tickets to My Downfall. He wanted this to be his like proclamation of independence. He was going to be out there being the flag bearer for this brand new genre that nobody has ever heard of before. And he existed outside of the realm of pop punk. I am a fan of the lineage, the history of this genre, going all the way back to the Descendants and like refining it all the way up until like the sad boy stuff of the late 2000s or whatever. I can appreciate that whole lineage. But Colson Baker lives in this nebulous vortex on the outer edges of this universe, okay? He doesn't belong on the timeline of pop punk. Kind of a culture vulture. And I don't think that that's a new thing that he's ever been called. I think he's very, very familiar with being called a culture vulture. But he was bound and determined to be a pop punk guy, and he was doing the circuits. He was licensing his songs to video games. He was in movies and television shows. He himself is now an actor that's going to be in all sorts of movies and television shows, you know, and he's going to brag about all this sort of stuff on like late night shows and whatever. Oh my God, we get it, we get it. And then he came out with a second record that he also thought was going to be this self-aware thing, and he called it Mainstream Sellout, not knowing he's been in the mainstream since day one and there was nothing to sell out to, Colson Baker, you stupid idiot. But this batch of tracks were far worse than the first batch of tracks. This thing had emo girl on it, which just seemed like a 30-something going through his emo phase. It was really ridiculous. Had kind of like predatory vibes to it, if I'm being honest with you. He also had this other song on there called Sid and Nancy, which he like glorified like a broken relationship. He then would find himself a part of one when he started dating Megan Fox. And nobody could believe that this was a couple. Can you believe it? MGK and Megan Fox together. These two idiots. And don't get me wrong, okay? I don't really care so much about couples being couples, who's with who, but Colson Baker, okay, Machine Gun Kelly, MGK is an absolute enemy of mine, and I have to relish in all of his suffering and all of his pain, because about a month and a half ago, it seemed like Megan Fox did a soft launch on a breakup with the guy when she went onto Instagram and was all like, trust is no good, I never trust any, you suck, and deleted all the pictures of him, and then had this like a picture of a burning something there or whatever. So it really made the whole world speculate old Colson Baker is out there doing some cheating, being a nasty boy, and I don't like that. All of that went down over Super Bowl weekend, and we haven't heard from these morons ever since then. Because if we just bounce on over here to his old Twitter profile, we'll see his last tweet was when he posted about his electrocution, and that was the last time that I made a video about the guy. And I was just doing my own thing. I thought I would check in today, and that was February 11th, and nothing has happened since then. We got some radio silence going down, so that makes me think, okay, he was active on Twitter, but he was also active on another platform called Instagram. So we went over to his Instagram, and this picture's been up for 8 weeks, and there's not been a new one uploaded since. What's going on, MGK? Now, when that soft launch breakup happened, Megan Fox deleted all the pictures of MGK off her profile, okay? She also only followed a couple people, and one of those people was Eminem, who you know the history of because I just laid it out. So that must have been like a dagger in the soul. And it just seems like the most dramatic thing in the world, because when you go over to Megan Fox's Instagram, it is scorched earth. Everything is gone. Nothing can be left up for speculation anymore. And as you see here, I was saying like she was following a couple people before, one of them was Eminem. Well, not anymore. Now there's 0 people being followed by Megan Fox, okay? And it looks like a forest in California right now. This thing has been scorched. And Megan Fox is more of an Instagrammer than anything else, but she did have a Twitter account that she was a little bit active on, and she hasn't posted on here since like January 9th, okay? Since before any of this drama. There hasn't been like an official announcement that these guys are broken up, but in my opinion, it seems like they might be trying to work on things because of how silent they both went. They're both being very quiet, so it might seem like they're like trying to figure things out in the background. But Colson Baker is just such a rotten human being that I will never believe that these guys are going to reconcile. Now, I will tell you straight up, I am biased and I am operating with extreme prejudice when it comes to my enemies, okay? And I am brave enough to say that. I want this guy to suffer as much as possible. I don't want him to feel physical pain. That's a little too much. I would feel pretty bad about this. But if he's out there being a cheating piece of crap, breaking the heart of Megan Fox, then I want nothing more than this guy to feel it. But something tells me a guy like this doesn't feel those kinds of feelings. He goes out there and he just does whatever he wants to do. He satiates any of his things that he wants done, any of his desires. That seems like to be the only thing that matters to this guy. I don't think he really actually cares for any other human being other than himself. And I would love nothing more than to be proven wrong about this, but I've seen Machine Gun Kelly out there in the public eye for years, for over a decade now, and he's always been such a trash piece of crap. But this has given me strong kill shot vibes. When Colson Baker over here gets into a little bit of drama, he just runs away. He doesn't address it. He doesn't talk about it. He just waits until people forget about it, because maybe they'll forget that he's a dumb idiot. But Machine Gun Kelly, I'm never going to forget. So I walk away from this hoping 2 things. I want an official announcement, whether they're broken up, whether they're not broken up. I need some closure on this sort of thing, not because I care about celebrity gossip or celebrity relationships or anything like that, but I need to know how much pain Colson Baker is in over there crying in his bedroom. But like I said, I don't actually think he's the kind of guy that feels that kind of pain, but I want him to be in a really sticky, disgusting situation. And the second thing that I want is for them to be active on their social media accounts again, because I need content. My enemies need to be providing me with the juicy stuff that's gonna make for great videos. But if you happen to be a Machine Gun Kelly fan and you found yourself on this video somehow, some way, let me know what you think about this whole situation. And if you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. Ring the bell if you're cool as hell. Until my next upload, you can watch another upload.